What's up guys, it's Lord Botha here with another video, and if Activision isn't careful, Call of Duty could lose out to Battlefield this year. And I know what you're already thinking. Don't call it a COD killer, because every game that has been called that has ended up being a tremendous failure, and Call of Duty has remained on top. There have been many games that have tried to topple Call of Duty. The massive failure that was X-Defiant from Ubisoft most recently, that was shut down within a year. But Call of Duty's little upstart brother Battlefield seems like they might have a winner on their hands here if everything that we've seen from Battlefield 6 is what's going to be in the game, and some of the promises that they've made, they've actually kept true to. But before we go on any further with this news, I want to take a second to actually thank a lot of you who are subscribed to this channel, all 485 of you currently, as I have been away for about a week on a brief hiatus. Essentially, I had to take the hamsters that are running my PC out, throw them into some XP farm dungeons, have them level up a little bit, then put them back in the cage of my PC, and now it is running a lot stronger. They are turning those wheels fast and hard. Yes, I have rebuilt him faster, stronger, better, and now may actually be able to get back into streaming, which I'm really excited about. And while I've been gone for many more days than I expected to be gone for, as I do like to churn out content at least every other day, if not every day, I do want to say that I appreciate every single one of you standing by and look forward to getting back to the content creation. Now, as that said, let's take a look at some Battlefield 6 news. Because while I've been gone, there has been a lot of news surrounding Battlefield 6, and a lot of it seemed to be very positive, but one of the negatives that people did hear was that bots were coming back to the game. Yes, this from Charlie Intel on Twitter X. Battlefield 6 will use bots to fill lobbies if there aren't enough players. By this, he means that DICE has actually came out in an interview and said that they will use bots on their servers for any servers that aren't full to keep matches at a full, consistent rate. That said, if all goes well with the beta, I don't think DICE will have that problem, at least when their game launches. Because as it stands right now, and this comes to us from Insider Gaming, Battlefield 6 game servers are full at 40,000 plus players waiting for the beta to start. That's right, it's August 6th at the date of recording this video. The beta is opening very soon for Battlefield 6, and already over 40,000 people are waiting to get on there. As the article states, the number has skyrocketed in the last couple of hours, and it's easy to see it hitting six figures soon enough. The first portion of the Battlefield 6 beta starts tomorrow. Let's just hope that the game's server's full message disappears. I, for one, will be very surprised if that actually happens. Beta tests, after all, are soft openings for games, and it's expected that there be some problems. And server functionality and just how many players it can handle is a typical problem for beta testing, especially with a massive launching game like this from a AAA gaming studio like DICE. Even this article states, could this be the year it overtakes Call of Duty? The hype for Black Ops 7 couldn't be lower right now. And I think that's because Black Ops 6 was a good Call of Duty. But a year on, nobody seems to care about it. Mostly because it's, at the end of the day, just like another Call of Duty. Except the multiplayer isn't hacked to hell. It's only slightly hacked to hell. Even the multiplayer at this point is hacked to hell. Not to the point that people are going to be, stealing your identity and credit card information. But they're definitely going to be cheating out the ass. I myself, within a couple of months, experienced heavy cheating in lobbies that weren't even ranked lobbies. The campaign for Black Ops 6 was there, And I think the reason why the hype for Black Ops 7 is low is because people don't really have any hopes that it's going to get any much better than Black Ops 6. And because they're doing Black Ops 7, it's a direct continuation of Black Ops 6. So there is a general feeling that you're getting the same game over again. This is the same kind of problem that sports games have ran into with modern audiences. It's the same game over and over and over again, and the only time they update mechanics, they seem to always make things worse. The only difference is that the audience that buys sports games seems to always buy sports games. They're a bit like strategy game players, in that they see that there's a new edition of the game that they like, even though the new edition could be a worse version of what they already have from a mechanics standpoint, but they're gonna buy it anyway, because it has one, maybe two features they want, or in the case of sports games, they have a roster update. Anyway, I veered off point here. Black Ops 7 feels like we're gonna get Black Ops 6 over again. I think that's why a lot of people have kind of checked out about the idea of Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and why Battlefield 6 seems more appealing. To put it quite plainly, it feels like there's going to be more innovation in Battlefield 6, and that's what's actually drawing people's attention to the game. Another thing that has caught people's attention of Battlefield 6 is DICE's commitment to realism. Their commitment to keeping Battlefield 6 grounded in actual military warfare. This again from Charlie Intel on Twitter X, which states, Battlefield 6 devs have commented on skins in-game compared to Call of Duty. Quote, it has to be grounded. That is what Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was. It was all soldiers on the ground. It's going to be like this. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Let's keep it real, keep it grounded. It's very interesting because there's kind of a meta point to all this. In the past 5 years, especially in the past couple of years, authenticity has become the currency of society, especially within the bounds of entertainment. There was a time where having Nicki Minaj and Beavis and Butthead skins, funny crossover things like that were in, and it would draw people's attention. They would want to play a game for that, even if it is something like Call of Duty, which was a game about war and was a first-person shooter. But as we've become a world society more focused on authenticity, and that's just in general, gamers too are more interested in authenticity. This goes to their war games. And I think gamers as a field have moved to a position where they want their war games to feel and look like war games. They don't want Nicki Minaj. They don't want Squid Game characters. They don't want Beavis and Butthead or Cheech and Chong in their first-person shooter games. They are looking for something grounded, something realistic, maybe even a campaign that has emotion to it, makes you feel something, is well written and acted, something that sticks with you like the old school Modern Warfare games, or hell, even the OG Call of Duty games, because some of those World War II stories had some pretty strong heart to it. But none of this seems to be phasing Activision or the Call of Duty devs in general. From the 40,000 plus players waiting for the beta, to the commitment from DICE to be a more grounded game in warfare, to the fact that both the trailer and the multiplayer trailer for this game were incredibly well received and have massively positive ratios. But none of that seems to affect them as, and this is from Insider Gaming again, exclusive. Activision leadership isn't worried about Battlefield 6 because Call of Duty is, quote, too big to fail. You want to talk about catchphrases that will instantly piss people off. Too big to fail is on that list. But the article states Insider Gaming has learned that Activision leadership has been taking note of Battlefield 6's recent hype, but is not worried that the franchise will surpass Call of Duty. To be fair, they have a track record of not needing to be worried. Because again, every game that has come along that's tried to topple Call of Duty has been a monumental failure. That said, the company that recently had a game that thought it might compete with Call of Duty, if not topple Call of Duty and take that #1 spot, Ubisoft with their game X-Defiant, is now in deep financial trouble. Ubisoft, a company that has pretty much been phoning it in when it comes to game development and had absolutely atrocious marketing time after time again, were once a giant of the industry with banger games that they were releasing yearly. Seriously, they were putting out Assassin's Creed games every year. And if you go back and you play some of those Assassin's Creed games, I don't know how they were doing it to release a game yearly and actually have those games be good and on that level of Assassin's Creed. In a similar vein, Activision is putting out Call of Duty games yearly. And these are first-person shooter games with a campaign that is barely there, that rely heavily on their multiplayer and gimmicks like those funny skins that we just talked about to actually move product in an audience where interest in those things are on the decline. What I'm trying to get at here is exactly how much longer does Call of Duty and Activision think that they can just sit back and phone in the development of Call of Duty games and people will just prefer their brand name over what else is on the table? Eventually, somebody's gonna care more, have enough money, and produce something that people are gonna choose other than Call of Duty. And Battlefield 6 might just be that. The article states, speaking with sources who wish to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to talk about Activision's internal conversations, it's been said that although Activision is keeping a close eye on Battlefield, they are not worried about the game outcompeting its flagship franchise. I would definitely be worried because Microsoft had to spend a massive amount of money to acquire you, and if you put out a game that doesn't sell while your competitor puts out a game that buries you, I definitely expect some jobs to be cut then. It goes on to state that it's said that Activision leadership believes Call of Duty is, quote, too big to fail and will remain a profitable annual release franchise for many years to come. At the time of writing, the annual Call of Duty title is penciled for the next 4 years at least. So they plan on releasing a Call of Duty title every year for the next 4 years. Watered down the Assassin's Creed franchise, where people stopped really caring about a lot of them, and also made it incredibly difficult for actual good Assassin's Creed games to be put out, and hurt the development of other games that were not Assassin's Creed to Ubisoft, things like Skull and Bones that they refused to take the L on, things like X-Defiant that were meant to compete with Call of Duty, and even other profitable franchises for Ubisoft like Far Cry and Rainbow Six. The annual release model is just not good for business anymore. Gamers would rather wait multiple years to get a really, really good game than get slop year after year after year, just because you need to generate a steady revenue stream to appease your shareholders. There's no obvious example of this better than GTA 6. GTA 6 is so highly anticipated because GTA 5 was really good, and it's been such a long time since a GTA game released. It's so highly anticipated because of those factors that most people are saying, yeah, it's probably going to cost $100, and guess what? I'm going to buy it anyway. And all of us are like, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Like, it's just normal. No, games shouldn't cost $100. But they know they're probably going to be able to get away with it. And even if they sold that game at like $80 or $70, they'd look like absolute heroes for selling it at premium prices. So churning out these annual Call of Duty titles is just going to water down the franchise even more from what it already is, making it incredibly hard to deal with cheaters and hackers. And the security systems you're going to have to use to deal with that problem are not going to be the greatest, and they're going to cause problems of their own, and this all just spells disaster. If Battlefield 6 does release, and it is an absolute banger, and it looks like it's going to be as successful as it looks right now, they don't derail in some massive way, which they could still do, because this is DICE we're talking about. But if they don't, if they just maintain and they sell the way they look like they're going to sell, then yes, Call of Duty will be in trouble, and they're going to have to rethink that annual model that they have and exactly how much effort and how much change and focus in certain departments and ideas that are putting within the development of Call of Duty. I, for one, am rooting for the success of Battlefield 6. If anything, it will push the developers of Call of Duty to actually innovate and care about the development of their game, which it doesn't seem like they have for a good long while. And also, yes, we might actually get a good, authentic, grounded, first-person shooter war game too. Something we haven't gotten on an excellent level in a very long time. Because this is Battlefield 6 opening day player count. And as you can see here, a peak of 334,000 players. Absolutely shattering the record for the franchise. And according to Games Luster, Battlefield 5 only had a peak of 116,000 players. So to see this nearly tripling those numbers is quite a feat. And if I'm Activision and I'm seeing these numbers, despite the fact that this open beta is free, right? I would still be very, very concerned that people are that interested in Battlefield 6 and what DICE seems to be bringing to the table here. Because, as I stated before in this video, and will continue to state, if DICE just keeps on the path that they are keeping on, this game is going to be absolutely massive when it drops. But those are just my thoughts on all of this. If you have your own thoughts, go and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it. We'll talk to you again later. What's up, guys? Both are from the future here, and it's even bigger than we thought.